Hey y'all, hey. I just harvested a lot of celery. Let me show you. I left some of the root stalks. Well, I didn't pull it all the way up like on 3 of them, just to see if they'll regrow. But this is a large pan full of celery. Yes, you see some of the stalks are skinny. Some are pretty heavy, they're a little thicker. But this is a lot. I've already harvested a lot. I froze half and I dehydrated half for celery powder. So basically, before I take it in the house, instead of getting all the things off in my sink, where there might be dirt, hay, or straw, whatever it is that you use to mulch your raised beds, I try not to bring all that stuff in the house. So I come over here, and I could use my rainwater, but I'm saving that. And I just spray everything off. Spray everything off, and I'm pissing up about this wicker stool or ottoman. And I just give a good rinse. And then I kind of go like, this one has holes in it. I kind of go back and forth with the cleaning. And the leftover water I pour into my flower pots to preserve, and let's not waste the water if you don't have to, right? So it's a lot of hay and everything on here. I spray. Sometimes I still don't get all the hay because it's just a lot. And I just do everything outside. Then that way, when you take everything in the house, you're not messing up your house as much. So one of the reasons why I harvested, not only because it was huge, most of them were huge, it was blocking some of my onions. Like, my onions are doing good, but some of them did not get the size that they need to be at this time because the celery was blocking them, was shading them out. So that's a note for me next year to put in my notebook. I just started keeping notes for next year to not plant the celery with the onions because it does bush out and it shades out the onions, and the onions need full sun. So basically, see, I got like little hay, like this is all in there. So I'm gonna take this and pour this in my pot over here. Like I said, we're not wasting any water. So I just kind of go back and forth, almost like how you do your greens in the house. I just go back and forth, try to get as much dirt off as I possibly can, and see. I don't know if you can see that, but there's a lot of dirt in there, right? So walk over here. Okay. So basically, this is just a really quick video to show you how I clean my vegetables outside. Again, you can use your rain barrel. We've added, what we got? We added a 4th rain barrel the other day. I'll walk over and show you that in a minute. But you don't have to watch me do all of this. This is just a snippet of what you do or what I do. To clean my vegetables before I take in the house. Because like I usually cut off this part because like that's where all the dirt is. So I usually cut that off. Usually in the house we'll have a sink full of dirt. So I usually cut that off, but I didn't do this one because it was really big. And I didn't want to make the mistake of pulling up some onions while I'm trying to get this giant thing out. So I had to be really careful with that one. See, like, I got celery everywhere. Just everywhere. A good problem to have, right? So anyway, like I said, I'm going to finish. Drop this up in here. Fill this up with water. Let it soak a little bit. I still see a lot of long pieces of hay on here, but I'm definitely going to transfer this over here and let it sit for a while, fill it up with water, and then I'll just show you guys the 4th rain barrel that I got. My husband hooked it up to the greenhouse. I'm so like a kid, like talk about a dad house for a child, a greenhouse for an adult is a thing, or she shed, one of the other. So it's like our own little dollhouse. But don't tell me and I see it, okay? Now, if I put this on Facebook, you know, the jig is up. Okay? I'm not sure if this okay. Kind of let me know. Okay. I'm going to stop with this. I'm not going to leave it out in the sun because it'll start wilting. I'm going to take it. Oh, I got some shade there. I can leave it here for now because I'm going to go right in the house after this. But I wanted to get some of the dirt. Let's get this good old water. And now, make sure you take your faucet off, guys. I made the mistake of doing this. Luckily, I caught it early. But I've made this mistake. So let's go. And I'm going to turn the camera around. So let's go over to the new rain barrel setup that my sweetie has attached to the greenhouse. And I'm showing you guys this as an idea. All different ways to conserve water. I brought my stuff out the greenhouse just to give it some really direct full sun, even though it can get it from the greenhouse, but still I just wanted to get the air, all the elements, right? So anyway, let's go over here. So here's the hookup. This is on the back of the greenhouse. So he propped it up on some crate and a couple of pieces of wood. I had that orange extension hose already because I knew that's what I wanted to do for this greenhouse, because there is actually a spout on the inside. So we did this all yesterday. So we're supposed to get some rain, I think Wednesday. Today is Monday. So anyway, so I'm going to go around the back of it too. So hold on, I got the stand on, so I don't want to make sure I don't snag anything. So I told him to make sure he got black to match the framing of the greenhouse. So he went and got me a black gutter, and he did it the length or the width of the greenhouse. There's the spout. He had to rig it up right there because this thing was too small for the actual gutter hole. So he found something, you know, he's a plumber, so he got the stuff. He got the stuff. And oh, no pun intended. Anywho, he did that, yeah. And then the water's gonna go out there. So he's gonna. This is sealed. This also came with the rain barrel, and so it's sealed here. So now he has to go get something to attach to this because we want to run the water in that direction. So right now it's too short, so he's going to go to the hardware store today and get more things. So that's our 4th rain barrel, and we're done. I'm not going to get any more, but I pulled out the celery from this area because as you see, I got onions all in there. Then I had a few onions in there, but again, you see how you really don't see the fullness as you see over there because the celery was blocking it out. So yeah, hopefully guys, we could get some warm weather. We've had a lot of consistently inconsistent temperatures. You know, we're going from 80s to 70s to 60s to 40s to 50s to, you know, and so on. So your warm season crops probably aren't taking off because the nights are in their 40s. Peppers, tomatoes, sweet potatoes, anything that enjoys the heat, you know, your melons, is confused right now. They're just like, what the hell is happening? So as long as they are still living, the leaves are still green, they're still standing up, they're just stunted because the temperatures aren't warm enough. Now, we're supposed to get upper 80s today. I think maybe tomorrow too. But I think Wednesday, we're back down into the 60s. So we're having this difference of 20 to 30 degree differences in temperatures, and your plants are going to react, be it a flower or be it a vegetable or herb. They're going to react. I will say the cool tolerant vegetables are loving it. Okay, now today they may not like so much because we are going to get into the 80s and we're going to have some type of sun. But my cabbage, as you can see, I'm not going to unlift this thing because of the netting, because that little stinky cabbage moth will come flying around. You see that big and bulkiness? Those are our cabbages, as well as at the other bed. They love the cool weather. My lettuces have loved the cool weather. The celery even loved the cool weather, as you see how bushy and beautiful it is. But my tomatoes are growing. They'll do better than peppers. They can take a little coolness. Actually, they kind of prefer it. They want the warm, but they don't want the hot sun, because now you're getting your tomatoes scalded. And peppers can be scalded too if it's a hot sun, but just make sure you water your stuff properly. Anyway, I just want to give you guys that small snippet of, if you feel like what is going on in my garden this year, it's the weather. It's the weather. That's why it is good. I'm just going to be kind of scanning around. That's why it is good to have frost cloth. It is good to have shade cloth, because you have to be able to act at any given moment when it comes to the weather. If it gets too cold, unseasonably cold, for your very sensitive things, you want to be able to throw a frost cloth over it, or you hardened it off that they'll be okay. And most of my stuff was hardened off that they did okay. What else? When it gets too hot and you have leafy greens and cabbages and broccoli, lettuces, if it's in direct sun, that afternoon sun, it's going to go into seed, meaning it's going to flower, and you just basically need to just go ahead and harvest that plant, or just let it go into flower and then collect the seeds at the end of the season. So in the heat, you can get shade cloth. I think they have like a 40-50% where it can block out the sun at that level. And or you can plant these sensitive things that's sensitive to direct sun under things that are bushy, right? So if you got like an arbor or a plant that's really bushy, you can plant those lettuces and all those things up under that, right? So anyway, just think about, like, what would you do as a person who walks outside and you're cold? You're going to go get a jacket. Your plant want a jacket. If it's hot and you're like, oh my God, I'm going to get sunburned, what do? Not just sunblock lotion. You go get a hat, you get some sunglasses, you get something to block the intensity of that sun. Your plants want it too. If you don't have anything, you're going to have to come up with something to protect them. So don't plant something and walk away and say, okay, the Lord going to take care of it. Oh yes, he's going to take care of you, because he's going to let the weather be whatever he wants it to be, okay? But it's up to you to react. So if you want a healthy garden, you have to look after your garden. Just like if you want a healthy you have to look after you. You have children, you have babies, and if you're a responsible adult, you take care of those babies, you take care of those children. Your plants want the same attention. This is not for the weak. I'm not trying to scare you, but this is not for the weak. You have to want to do it, and that's all I'm going to say about that, okay? Just a quick little lesson. I keep saying everything is quick, but it end up longer than what it needs to be. But anyway, this is a new bed I just planted up. Added some stones we had around and put those very pretty marigolds that we got from Wagner's out in Grand Park, Illinois last Memorial Day. And I planted my knockout rose, what is that? Oh gosh, I can't even think of it right now. Boxwood that was struggling, so I pulled that out. Put in some other things, and so I think I went over this stuff already, so we're gonna stop right here. But anyway, the lupin that I grew from seed, correction, from seed. Look at it. All these lupins I grew from seed. Isn't that beautiful? Yes, darling, yes. So I've always had the purple ones, but now I got pink, which the bag said red. So okay, people. Anyway, I partially finished my umbrella. Remember, I wanted that $400 umbrella that I refused to pay for, and I was trying to get a donation, but I was just kidding. Anywho, I really bought this too big. I was just being overly ambitious, so I think I want to do it on a smaller scale next year. But this is like a 10-foot umbrella. I don't need no 10-foot umbrella. I don't need one. We got so many umbrellas. Anywho, it was pink. It was supposed to be a mauvey pink, but it came in a pale pink. Wrong, not what I was asking for. Anyway, I bought a tablecloth, round tablecloth that I knew. I think this is 120 inches. I don't know. I might be right. Anyway, 120 tablecloth, really frilly, as you see. I took a tablecloth, sewed fringes on it. I'm anybody who knows me, I'm impatient. So I stopped sewing for a couple of weeks, and I forgot how to thread the machine. I had to start looking at videos again, and I got frustrated. So I didn't add the same trim on this side that I'm gonna show you on the other side. So half of this has the fringes and another what you call it, border, some type of border on here, or trim on it. But I should have just stopped right there, knowing my patient level. Anyway, so this side has this. I added that. Isn't that cute? So anyway, I'm done. Whatever. And I gorilla glued some fake flowers on it, so it's very foo-foo. It's very frilly. Some people might say, "Oh, that's just too much," but we talking about my yard. We ain't talking about yours. Anyway, so I love it. And so I got fabric from the thrift stores. As you see, I love the cottage style. So that's why you're going to see pink and flowers and just foo-foo. I'm not going to get too crazy. I'm not going to get too crazy. And I'm saying it to myself to convince myself. But anyway, and Chris, my husband, ain't going to let me get too crazy anyway. But this is my little area. I call it my little granny spot. And the grandkids can sit over here with me and we could talk about all the things, right? So anyway, so that's quickly what I want to show you guys. I finished that project. Well, I finished it, okay? I ain't doing nothing else to it. I'm done. We're going to say that. And I showed you guys the rain barrel. And then I should be harvesting garlic in another 2 weeks or so. I might have to push it out another week because we're supposed to get all this rain, and they tell you not to harvest it when the soil is really, really wet. And I guess for fungus reasons or whatever, you want it to dry as fast, but if you're pulling up out of wet soil, it's going to take even longer to dry, and I don't want this to have the risk of it getting mold or fungus and all of this work and time for naught, right? I think one of my okra is getting a flower. Yes, she is. She is getting a flower. Okay, I made this video longer than what I said. So, taking my tips, take it or leave it, do some more research. I think I know what I'm talking about, at least according to my garden. So, you have to do what's best for yours. But anyway, I'm going to go in, take the celery in the house, get it cleaned up, freeze some, and what I say? Dry it. Yeah. Dry some. Dehydrate. That's what I'm trying to say. Dehydrate some. Okay, so you guys have a wonderful, wonderful day. And I always say, be blessed, but you better be a blessing. Look at that David Austin Rose. Bye.